Another Democratic hopeful bites the dust. Julian Castro announced Thursday he is ending his bid for the presidency, which means the Democratic presidential field is just a little less diverse. And President Trump selected his delegation to this year's World Economic Forum. And guess who made the cut? His daughter Ivanka and her husband Jared Kushner are headed to Davos, Switzerland. No coal miners or auto workers? Maybe next year. Those are a few of today's headlines, but on today's newscast, the latest campaign and fundraising numbers are in and people are getting smoked. TikTok might be breaking the internet, but the U.S. military is pumping the brakes. Out with the old and in with the new year and new state laws. Will Congress take these hints? I'm Jamal Simmons. Here's why you should care. Fourth quarter fundraising has come to an end in the presidential race, and so has one candidate's campaign. Senator Bernie Sanders and now former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg are raking in the dough, but former Housing Secretary Julian Castro has announced his exit from the building. Castro, the only Latino candidate running for president this year, told supporters this morning he's leaving the race. Before this morning's news about Julian Castro, the political world was buzzing about the cash haul Sanders and Buttigieg announced. Can we still call him Mayor Pete? I don't know. Bernie Sanders raised $34.5 million in the fourth quarter. This from 1.8 million donations. In December alone, he raised $18 million from 900,000 donations. His average contribution was $18.53. Almost all of his donors still have room to give even more. Pete Buttigieg lost his day job yesterday when a new mayor of South Bend was sworn in, but he still has the number 2 spot in the money race. Buttigieg raised $24.7 million last quarter from 326,000 contributors. Entrepreneur, internet phenom, and universal basic income enthusiast Andrew Yang raised $16.5 million in the last quarter. That's a big jump over the $9.9 million haul he brought in for Q3. Yang's campaign said his average donation is about $30, and 75% of his donations have been less than $200 apiece. The big question marks hanging out there are former Vice President Joe Biden, who had a very disappointing third quarter fundraising report, and Senator Elizabeth Warren, who issued a last-minute appeal to supporters to get her over the $20 million mark, which will put her in contention for third place, depending on Biden's numbers. It's 2020, and the race is down to its last month in Iowa. More campaigns will fail than rise, and America will soon know who has won the right to take on the sitting president. Speaking of Donald Trump, his campaign just announced he raised $46 million alone in the last quarter. Democrats, get ready. A juggernaut awaits you. U.S. military forces are taking a hard pass on TikTok because of security concerns. You know TikTok, the short-term video app that has obsessed so many Gen Zers. The app is owned by a Chinese-based company called ByteDance, one of the fastest-growing startups in that country. That ownership has caused some alarm in our country. There have been bipartisan calls to regulators in the intelligence community to determine whether or not TikTok is being used to collect U.S. citizens' personal data and if it presents a threat to national security. TikTok has also been accused of censoring content related to the protests in Hong Kong, though the company has denied such claims. Now the military is weighing in. First, the Navy told sailors to remove the app from government-issued phones in mid-December, and now the Army is issuing a similar ban. Initially reported by military.com, an Army spokesperson told the paper, quote, "It is considered a cyber threat. We do not allow it on government phones. Here's why you should care." According to Reuters, researchers found a risk for sharing Army information through the use of apps after it concluded in 2018 that a fitness tracking app, Strava, was inadvertently exposing military posts and other sensitive information. The app has been so popular among the U.S. military, TikTok, that the Army was reportedly using it as a recruitment tool. This isn't the first time a foreign-based app caused security concerns over data sharing. Remember FaceApp? I wonder if the Army has read the terms of service for some of these U.S.-based apps too. As of January 1st, a slew of new laws were enacted in several states across the country. Here's a quick rundown. In California, if you work in the gig economy, you'll enjoy more worker protections and benefits under a new law, AB 5. The law is an attempt to reclassify these workers as employees, not contractors. We'll see how Uber, Lyft, and the rest of these companies fare after a huge change to their business models. Also in California, the toughest data privacy law goes into effect, and consumers will now have the opportunity to decline the sale of their personal information. This doesn't stop companies from aggregating user info, but at least consumers will have greater autonomy over what gets sold. In New York, cash bail for misdemeanor and nonviolent crimes have been barred. New Jersey and California also implemented the same restriction. Marijuana advocates are cheering going into 2020 as Illinois joins the list of states where using cannabis recreationally is now legal. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker went a step further and overturned 11,000 low-level marijuana convictions. Now that's significant. In the Lone Star states, Texas, surprise medical bills will be curbed. Under the toughest legislation on medical billing yet, people who receive state-regulated coverage will not be getting huge bills for out-of-network care. And a huge win for anti-gun advocates, Colorado, Hawaii, and Nevada joined the move to enact a red flag law, which grants judges the flexibility to take firearms away from people who might be a threat to themselves or others. Here's why you should care. Those sweeping changes on a vast number of topics have been set in motion. Critics will surely push back through legal challenges and vocal protests. But as we head into a new decade, states are taking the lead on solving problems. We'll see if the federal government follows. Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos. And head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.